so for a lesson on this piece by Mertz, a couple of things to talk about. Of course, there's a very strong melody and some chords that you have to navigate. So I think what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit about the piece and then we'll do a walkthrough. So you might have this piece in other books, but if you don't, this is in my Volume 1 Easy Classical Guitar Volume 1 book, and there's a link for that underneath the video, so you can check that out. But you can watch the video for free and just pick up all the tips and ideas about approaching pieces like this. So this is quite a Romantic era work. Really reminds me of like Schubert, and certainly Mertz loved Schubert, arranged many of his songs, art songs. So that's definitely something you can draw upon. So like I said, it has a very strong melody, so the first thing you should do is play that melody on its own. That's the uppermost note with stems going up. So when you're playing that melody, feel free to there's a lot of times in the melody where a non-chord tone exists. And all that means is that on the beat, on the accented beat, there's a note that doesn't belong to the chord. Like even here, that G chord, there's an E in it. So we'll accent it because it's a juicy note and then resolve it. This F is dissonant, right? When it's on its own, it's pretty dissonant, but so it resolves always after the beat. So enjoy those spicy notes and always do tension, release, or strong, weak, or loud, soft. Even there, that D and the A resolving to the C. That chord is pretty straightforward and easy. You can just grab it. There's an E, open E just before it, so it's easy to get into. You could use, because there's open strings right before that chord, you could use 3-2 if you find it more comfortable. 4-3 is right there and it'll allow you to keep the same hand position, but I know many people have trouble with 4 and 3. Just remember, if you keep this knuckle here, you can grab that chord very easily from all the other chords right before it. If your hand is like this though, then you're going to find that really hard. You see, I can't even reach that note when I outstretch my pinky because my knuckle is in the wrong place. But if I swing it around, it's right there. It's no problem, right? So just keep that in mind. Your hand position is really will affect what fingerings you use. But that said, because of the open strings before and after, you could use other fingers because it wouldn't really affect anything in this particular case. In terms of right hand fingering, I'm using my thumb for all the bass notes. Even when it jumps up to the 3rd string. But you could do it differently. You could play IMA there. Saving your thumb just for the low bass notes. That said, it's kind of like a nice easy thing you can do, and it also will allow you to not repeat as many upper fingers because there's all these 3-note chords. So it allows you to kind of use alternating fingers more often. So that's what I recommend, just using your thumb on those all the stems down bass notes. Regarding those rests, take them or leave them. I kind of observe the rest at the end of the 4-bar phrase, but at the beginning there, he actually has a rest right here. So you could observe that. I'm letting it sustain, but definitely observing the rest at the end of the phrase is kind of like a pickup to the next phrase. Into the next line, I try to start with A finger, A, and then PIM. You still have to repeat some fingers when you play chords, but whenever possible, if you can avoid repeating fingers, that's great. There I do, because it's the very end of the phrase, I do use IMA on that chord because I just want it to be nice and soft, and I found it easier to do without the thumb there. So that's the one place where I definitely recommend just using IMA. Sorry, A. Try to start with A. bar is a particular spot in the piece where you can really like lay on some rubato. Don't use it everywhere because there's so much repetition in this piece. You have to keep the piece moving or it'll become kind of like a seasick experience of rubato. But that one bar is a great opportunity to like really lay it on thick. And then start again and keep moving it forward until the end. You know, you don't want to use a lot of rubato in every 2 bars because it could start sounding like the phrase length is just 2 bars instead of 4. And then it's like too much. It's too much phrasing, it's too much rubato. So you want some kind of momentum to carry you through the piece and keep the piece moving so it doesn't become overly romantic or lethargic. So just choose your moment to lay it on a little bit thicker, and then I think that's a good spot there at the end of the 3rd line. I think that's about it. Talked about most of the points, but again, just like phrase that melody really beautifully on its own, and then throw those chords in and just don't let the chords disrupt your nice melody. You don't want to be crashing chords out. You know, like lots of crash and bang. It's really easy on the guitar is so percussive, but you want to make sure that melody just comes through. And making sure maybe some of the beats aren't as strong as other ones. You don't want to just crash out everything in that piece. So a real focus on the melody.